So over the past year, if you've followed my channel, you'll know that I've owned literally like 8 different cameras, all from completely different camera systems. So I've owned FujiFilm cameras, Panasonic cameras, Canon cameras, Sony cameras, Leica cameras, Hasselblad cameras, and probably a couple more that I can't even name of right now. And on the surface, you're probably thinking of it and you're like, somehow this kid is just super rich. He's just made of money somehow and he's thrown around ridiculous amounts of money at these cameras. And that's not necessarily the case. There are certain ways that you can buy and sell camera gear without losing any money whatsoever, effectively making buying and using that camera for a certain amount of months or a certain period of time a completely free rental. And that's what I'm going to explain to you guys today. So when I buy a camera, I never think of it as a purchase. I always think of it as a rental. And I typically predetermine before I ever buy a camera how long I'm going to have that camera, whether it's going to be for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or whatever. I typically predetermine that before I even purchase the camera. And so today I'm going to explain to you how I've had over 8 different cameras over the past year, and I've bought them and sold them for the exact same purchase price every single time, effectively giving me completely free camera rentals for the entire past year. And I'm going to show this all to you in 3 simple steps. Before I jump into the video though, go down below, give this video a thumbs up. It would help out the video a ton. It helps out the channel. I really appreciate it big time. And if you're interested in seeing more content just like this video, definitely hit that subscribe button as well. I upload videos every single week and I'd appreciate that big time. Let's jump right into it. All right, step number 1, and this might seem obvious to people. Step number 1 is always buy used gear. Never buy new gear. When you buy a new camera, say it's a $2,000 camera, you take that off the shelf, you unbox it, that $2,000 camera instantaneously depreciates to probably like $1,500 or $1,600, depending on what the camera is. I don't know what the exact numbers are, but it significantly depreciates instantaneously the second you take it off the shelf because that camera is no longer brand new. You need to buy used cameras in order for this process to work. When you buy a used camera or any used piece of gear, whether it's a lens or anything like that, it gives you the ability, if you're able to maintain the same condition of that lens, and if that piece of camera equipment doesn't depreciate over that period of time, it gives you the ability to resell that piece of equipment for the exact same purchase price in a predetermined amount of months. More information on depreciation and things of that nature here in a little bit, but let's talk right now about how to know if you're getting a good deal on used gear. So this is not the focus of this video, but real quick I'm going to show you how to figure out whether or not you're getting a good deal on a piece of camera equipment. So what you got to do is open up eBay. In the top right hand corner of eBay, you're going to hit the advanced button. You're going to go down right here, you're going to click on sold listings, and then you're going to click, or type in rather, whatever piece of camera equipment it is that you're looking at. So let's say we're looking for a Sony A7 III. I want to know what is the average sale price of a Sony A7 III right now on the used market. And so if you scroll down this, you can see historically over the past couple of months or past couple of weeks, it says the sale date right here on the right hand side. I'm highlighting it. You can see exactly how much they have been selling for the past couple of months. So I can see right now that it's pretty consistent. Sony A7 IIIs, actually these first 4 might not count. This kind of seems sketchy because it's all the first, or it's all the same pictures rather, but if you scroll down a little bit, you can see that there's a Sony A7 III that sold for $1,500 here, $2,000 here. It looks like it came with a lens. This one was $1,500. This one was $1,700. What I would recommend is looking at a bunch of these. Make sure they're legitimate first. Take probably a sample size of like 10 or 20 of them, and then average it out. Figure out what the average sale price is of a camera that's in good to excellent condition, and then try to find a good to excellent condition camera or piece of equipment for at that average price or a little bit below that average price. That's how to know that you're getting a good deal on any piece of camera equipment. Go on eBay, use the advanced function, and look at what has been previously sold, average out those prices, and then try to buy something below that average price. That's how to get a good deal. All right, now step number 2 is always be aware of depreciation. So say for example, today you go out and you purchase a used Canon EOS R. You get a super good deal on it, you're super pumped about it, and you're like, I'm going to keep this thing for 2 months and then I'm going to sell it for the exact same price that I bought it for. But Canon all of a sudden comes out of nowhere and releases the Canon EOS R version 2. Because that version 2 was just released, your original Canon EOS R is going to depreciate massively. It's probably going to get slashed by like $500 or $600 on the used market, and you're screwed. You just lost that $500 or $600. So what I'm going to explain to you real quickly is how you can kind of have awareness of when different camera brands or different camera manufacturers are going to be releasing new equipment, so you can be aware of depreciation, so you can sell your equipment before it significantly depreciates on the used market. So because I'm one of the biggest camera nerds in the world, I am constantly on the internet browsing and trying to figure out what the next piece of equipment is that's coming out. And I've discovered over the past couple of years that there is a rumors website for just about every single camera manufacturer. So for Fujifilm, for example, there's FujiRumors.com. For Canon, there's CanonRumors.com and CanonWatch.com. For Nikon, there's Nikon Rumors, and so on and so forth. There's literally a rumors website for every single camera manufacturer that exists. And so say, for example, you have the Canon EOS R, and you want to make sure that you sell it before the Canon EOS R version 2 comes out. You need to constantly be on CanonWatch.com and CanonRumors.com trying to figure out when that next camera is going to be coming out. So you don't have to go crazy about this. Honestly, just check it like every week or two or something like that. But that'll give you the ability to know when new gear releases are coming so that you can sell your camera gear before that new release comes out and your camera massively depreciates. Every once in a while, you certainly can get very unlucky. A camera manufacturer could just shock everybody by releasing a new piece of equipment. This doesn't really happen that frequently. If you read these rumors sites, honestly, something almost always gets leaked, so that doesn't always happen. But camera manufacturers are known around like the holiday season and things of that nature to just slash the prices on gear out of nowhere, and that can oftentimes affect this process. But you got to be aware of those caveats, and honestly, I haven't been that affected by those two caveats at all. It's probably because I'm constantly paying attention to stuff, but if you just do your homework and your research, you'll be completely fine and you'll avoid that depreciation. Step number 3, arguably the most important step, is you need to sell your gear yourself. Do not trade your camera gear in. I know so many people, and I've heard so many stories of people getting all their camera gear together because they want to switch camera systems, going to the local camera store and trading it in for pennies on the dollar just because they wanted to switch to that new mirrorless system or they wanted to switch camera brands or whatever. Do not do this. Camera stores will give you literally like 20 to 30%, sometimes maybe 40 or 50% of what your camera is worth on the used market. Don't be lazy. Don't be dumb. You need to sell your camera gear yourself on the internet, and I have a couple of tips on where to do it and where the best places to sell your stuff is. Many people will recommend that you take your gear and you go and sell it on eBay. And I agree that eBay is an awesome place to sell camera equipment if you're really trying to get it done quickly. However, the problem with eBay is that when you sell any piece of gear or anything actually on eBay is that they instantaneously, when you sell something through eBay, they take a 9% charge on top of it. So if you sell a $1,000 camera on eBay, they're going to take $90 right off the top. And then oftentimes most people will use PayPal as their transaction medium. They'll sell the camera through PayPal so people can just pay them through there. It's the easiest way of doing it. PayPal actually takes an additional 3% on top of that. So if you're trying to sell a camera on eBay, you're instantaneously going to lose 12% of the value of that camera. This is something you can certainly avoid, and I'm going to explain that to you right now. My recommendation is actually to sell your gear on Reddit. Yes, I said it, on Reddit. The same place that you like to look at cat memes and whatever else you like to waste your time doing when you're supposed to be working. Reddit actually is a really, really awesome place to sell just about anything, believe it or not. I follow a bunch of pages or subreddits on Reddit that sell a number of different things. A lot of camera gear, actually like wristwatches and things of that nature. Anything that's like a collectible item or any piece of technology, Reddit is actually a fantastic way to find a buyer for things like that. If you're not familiar with Reddit, Reddit is basically a website that has a ton of different forums related to different things that people are interested in talking about. So in this specific example, there's a forum that I oftentimes use that is called PhotoMarket, and it is specifically designed to help people buy and sell camera gear without paying the 9% fee to eBay. So right now on my screen I have PhotoMarket pulled up, and as you can see, there are 30,600 people that are members of this subreddit. And there's probably a number of people that aren't like signed up for the subreddit that also use it as well. So there's a massive, massive amount of people that you could potentially sell or buy camera gear from here. And so as you can see, people have a whole bunch of stuff listed up. You can see there's a Canon 5D Mark III, a Yashica Electro 35, I think that's a 35mm film camera, Sony A7iii f4, Canon 6D. You can scroll through this forever. You can find brand new gear. You can find ancient gear. You can find just about anything, and it is a perfect way for you to transact camera gear and avoid that 9% eBay fee. I'm happy to make a video that goes like a little bit more in depth in this in the future if that's something you're curious about. I've sold literally every piece of camera equipment that you've seen on this channel through PhotoMarket, so I'm happy to talk about it because I have plenty of experience. Let me know in the comment section below if you'd like to learn a little bit more about this, because it does kind of seem a little bit sketchy at first selling on Reddit, but I'm happy to talk about it if that's something you're interested in. So I'm realizing I should probably give you just a little bit of additional context on how this works, because it was a little bit confusing for me the first time that I did it, although if you just read the instructions on the right hand side of PhotoMarket, it's pretty self-explanatory. Pretty much how it works is like this. So this is one of my old listings. I was selling a Sigma 35mm lens and a Tamron 28 to 75mm lens, some of my old Sony equipment. Basically, all you do is you create a post on PhotoMarket. They give you instructions on how to create it in the right format, or else they'll delete it from you. You basically post your equipment. You talk a little bit about the condition of the equipment. As you can see, I've already sold them, so I deleted all the equipment condition details. You put a price up there. People will comment saying that they've PM'd you or direct messaged you. And then you go onto that person's page. You make sure that they're legit. On Reddit, you have a level of karma, which basically shows how much those people have posted. Make sure that it's not just like a spam account or something like that. Once you've realized they are in fact legit, you give them your PayPal address. So I give them my email address that is on my PayPal. They PayPal me the money. I accept the money. They tell me their address, and then I ship it off to them. That's how it works in a nutshell. It's honestly really, really simple. Basically, you just vet the person out really quickly. They tell you what they want. They send you the money. You send them the gear. I always ship it via USPS. And PayPal still, in this case, is going to take a 3% charge right off the top of this transaction. But to be completely honest, it's like very, very insignificant. And oftentimes, if you follow this process to a T, oftentimes you can actually sell your camera equipment for a tiny, tiny bit more than you bought it for. Sometimes you might take a 3% hit, but at the end of the day, 3% is extremely insignificant if you're able to use a several $1,000 piece of equipment for several months. In a nutshell, this is how I buy just about any piece of camera equipment, use it for a predetermined set of months, and then sell it for the exact same price every single time. This formula is awesome, and I have used some incredible cameras over the past 12 months. And to be quite honest, I don't think there's any better way of doing it. I think that being able to use just about any camera you want, especially if you're a gearhead like me, is really, really cool. And this is kind of the formula to giving you the ability to test out whatever you want to test out without any real financial burden. And I gotta give you the disclaimer here, there is always, always a risk that camera companies could just slash the prices on something. You could be completely caught off guard and a new camera gets released and it cuts the price of the camera that you own right now, and you could get totally screwed. This is always a risk that you've got to be willing to take, but it's certainly worth it, especially if you do all your homework and you know that those things aren't going to happen. Anyways, thank you all a ton for watching. I appreciate it big time. I hope that these tips help you get your hands on some super dope camera equipment. If you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos just like this, hit the subscribe button below, and I'll plan to see you guys in the video next week. Peace.